She's a really good cook.
But Jake is a talented cook.
Thank you. Okay, I just practice more. Whoa, that's on. That's how you lose a finger.
I am Maggie
And I am Jake Gyllenhaal.
The idea was that we were together going to show you how to bake our mom's banana bread, but Jake and I both know that what's gonna happen is he's gonna bake our mom's banana bread and I'm gonna hang out.
Welcome to our relationship.
So badass the way you just crumbled those nuts.
It's gonna get crazy.
Messy. It's really rare that I bake something and it turns out well.
I don't remember anything you've baked.
I've actually never ever used this before. I think we should have a cooking show.
I don't, I'm like a little nervous right now. You built me up like, know what I'm doing.
It's gonna be better if you make it.
That's not true. With the two of us, it's gonna be.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great, but he's gonna bake it. I'm gonna hang out.
The oven's gonna bake it. We're just gonna put it together.
So this is your mom's recipe. Can you just tell us more about it?
It was taken from a cookbook, like the Sunbeam cookbook, but the thing that makes it really special is that all of the measurements have gotten fudged and messed up and rewritten by hand by our mother, who got a number of the measurements not right. So, so you know, people talk about how their parents have like their special recipe, like ours was just done by accident. Our mother's a writer. I think that's how Maggie inherited the brilliance of her writing skills. When my mom was starting writing something, we'd come home from school and there'd be like all these baked goods.
Oh, really? Like
Yeah.
you think she was procrastinating?
Big time. It was like she had like an assignment and then it was like 14 banana breads. This was like a thing, a staple that I can't eat one slice of.
He's like that. My daughter baked a cake the other day and he was like,
I ate half of it.
he literally ate the cake.
Yeah. Banana bread tastes the best when the bananas are almost
Yeah.
to their death.
These ones are okay. And these ones are too
They're
nice.
not deathly enough. They should be worse off than these.
Jake, you cook. Maggie, do you like to cook?
I'm a pretty good cook.
She's a really good cook.
And I learned so much from Jake actually all the time. We made osobuco together on Christmas.
You made osobuco.
You really helped me. But the risotto, that was great.
I love making a risotto. It's the most, you can stay antisocial at a party, you know? Oh, sorry, it takes a lot of focus. You guys, this butter is so softened. Leave it to the New York Times. Do you want to mash the bananas?
Sure.
Okay.
You tell me what to do.
Let's get one of the, what bowls do we have?
Do we have a fork or
Is
something?
this, are we like off? Yeah, there you do. Okay, I'm gonna butter this. I'm gonna butter this pan.
Is there a reason not to just butter the crap out of it?
Yeah, because
Why?
you don't want to add the butter to the recipe. And then it can also get brown too much on the outside. Can you hand me that banana that I threw over there? Thanks. Thank you. Okay, I'm just gonna sneak in a little bit more banana.
Okay, great. So Mom, I think, uses pecans. I also
use
thought
both.
walnuts. You both?
Yeah, I use both.
So then I need to switch places with you.
So growing up between your parents, who was more of the cook?
They both did different things. You know, my mom really loved like fresh vegetables and she made these beautiful salads, you know. And my dad was a little bit more Baroque in his style.
They did something that I hate, which is that they would have dinner parties and they'd be like still cooking and everything all over the counter and, you know, in the middle of like a complicated recipe when there were people over. That really stresses me out. I like to cook something that's like kind of set and then all I have to do is dress the salad.
That's how I feel about memorizing lines at this point.
I don't memorize lines at all anymore. It's amazing.
Mashed bananas. Mashed bananas. I'm showing this camera. Is that right? Mashed bananas.
Chopped nuts.
Yeah. Do you have a cup of that?
Oh, it said half a cup.
I know. Let's do a cup.
Okay.
So you usually double the nuts?
Yeah. Everything is by preference. Like oftentimes, my partner and I, she'll like cut the sugar in half. We do that with a lot of the cakes we bake. Tastes just as good, usually better.
If it was me making this by myself, I wouldn't measure the nuts at all. I'd just be like some nuts and feel the vibe, but it wouldn't be like really good. Like Jake's like, you know, I would just kind of chop some nuts.
Keep them kind of big, like
Okay.
some of them. That's good. That's great. But you want to use all this stuff because it's like umami-ish stuff. Yeah. Get that in there. Getting it all in there.
No,
In there. Going at the very end. Look at the dry ingredients. This is so, I want this in my kitchen, like things that have, like, this is so cool.
Do you ever cook together?
Yeah, we cooked osobuco together.
You know, the past 3 years, particularly in holidays, Maggie's been super busy because she's had this movie, you know? She wrote the script, was totally consumed with like making it, and then the whole process takes so long. And so the responsibility has been put on Yeah, on me.
Although I made ossobuco and
You did? No, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. After the third time about the ossobuco, you gotta stop with the mention of ossobuco.
actually
It's the New York
I
Times.
have really
They'll be like, okay, we got it. You make ossobuco. Half a teaspoon of salt. Should I tell everybody what it is? Half a teaspoon of salt, a cup and a half of flour, and then we're gonna do baking soda. So this is the moment of odd truth.
Oh yeah. If you look at the recipe,
This is half a teaspoon.
you can see that it's been marked out and you can't actually see the measurement. 1 something of soda.
Today, because it's a special day, because we're with the New York Times,
Yeah.
I'm gonna do, that's half a teaspoon, that's a teaspoon now. I'm gonna do a teaspoon and a half, 2.5 teaspoons. Good luck to us. So, you know, you'll never fully know the recipe. Do you have a whisk maybe of some kind? You brought a sifter out, but I'm like, get that out of here. We don't need a sifter. It's fine. We'll just whisk it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So what should we do? This is up to you guys. Half a cup of sugar, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, or a cup of sugar? Less sugar. Half. Oh, okay. Yeah. Half a cup.
Everyone's half a cup.
Half a. 3/4.
I think I'm 3/4.
In honor of the bride, I'm gonna do between half a cup and 3/4 of a cup.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Oh wait, we need another bowl. Oh, there's that bowl. Oh, is it locked? Whoa, that's on. Okay, that's unlocked. That's how you lose a finger. So we'll do 1 stick of butter, which is half a cup, right? 1 stick of butter. Thank you, experts, thank you. Half a cup of sugar, and then I'm just gonna do this. In honor of you.
A little extra.
Just a little bit of like, I don't know, it feels right. Do you guys have like a
Here.
oh, great. Okay, cool. What is that called again? Spatula? Thank you.
But it's more specific than a spatula.
Silicone
spatula.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Can you, Maggie, tell us the moment that you asked Jake to be in the film?
I was doing a rewrite. The truth is I always knew I wanted Jake to play Ronnie Reed, but I really just wanted to make sure it was the right thing for us, because that was more important to me. And somehow when I was...
Make sure you scrape down the bowl.
And I was like, I think it's right.
If you're lucky enough to get a call from a filmmaker that you deeply admire and they say, hey, do you want to be in my movie? As a performer, it's the thing that you dream about, you know? When that person who you admire as a filmmaker happens to be your sister, I immediately wanted to say yes, but I just wanted to make sure that like she knew, like, and I knew that we were only approaching it with love, you know?
I think in that call, I already knew it was right. And
Everyone from the cooking stuff, they all walked away because we're not baking anymore. They're talking about movies, like, ugh.
Yeah.
We've creamed the butter and the sugar. It should be about 1.5 minutes per the instructions.
Is that what it says? Or you
I
just
think
know
something
that?
like that. Is that what it
Oh
says?
yeah, for 1.5 minutes.
Beat it on what?
Beat whip speed. Cream
Yeah.
on beat whip speed. But we should use that as like a new term.
Okay.
Stop, scrape bowl, sugar, egg, and flavoring. Do you want vanilla?
Yeah, we're gonna add the eggs one at a time first, and I'm gonna scrape down the bowl. You don't want to mess with this thing. This thing's like, it's kind of hard to. I really prefer making this with like a hand beater, you know, like that. Sorry.
I don't have that.
Is there like a sponsorship I'm screwing with? Okay. This process with a cake like this, like it just I
Makes
don't
it more
know.
complicated.
To me, it's like you're always having to lift it up, take it out, scrape it off again, lift it up, take it up. And there's just something nice about like feeling the consistency with like a hand beater. There you go.
Vanilla?
Wait, we have one more egg we have to add. Such beautifully room temperature eggs, everybody. I thank you so much for
Thank
that.
you, New York
Really,
Times.
thank you, New York Times. You know, I might just whisk this. Like we've done the hard part, so. Oh yeah, yes, exactly.
Also, I think people will be reassured, like, hey, you don't need a stand mixer to make this recipe.
You absolutely don't, and I don't think you should. It's very, but see how like it's kind of hard to get in there now.
Here, do you want to show them?
Oh yeah, sorry, over here. Can you see that? So now teaspoon of vanilla, yeah. Oh man, more.
A little more.
Yeah, because that wasn't like a full half teaspoon.
Growing up, what were your biggest fights about?
He like bit me, you know? It was like, yeah. Like
You stuck a straw down my throat. There, is that enough? I mean, like generally it was just me being like a younger sibling and being annoying and her not
He
wanting
was
me in the room.
wild.
Yeah, I was like hyperactive.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. I wonder where this sour cream is from. Look at that, everybody. Look at that.
Okay, how
This
much?
was supposed to take like 15 minutes. It's like 4 hours later. Am I doing this right? Yeah, I'm doing it right. Give me a second.
Bananas now or?
Yeah, bananas now. You do. Put the bananas in, and I'm gonna switch with you.
Jake.
Yeah.
No, you do this. I don't want to do that.
Come on, do it. Come on, you
Okay.
have to do it.
And the dry?
Throw it all in and do it.
Okay. I've actually never ever used this before.
So don't turn it all the way up. Just do one click. Go slow. Yeah. It's great. This is going a lot better than I thought it would, to be honest.
See, I told you I was just here for the ride.
Scrape down the sides.
It does feel a little extra messy.
If you don't have a brother or sister, you can't clean up while the other person's doing something else. So it's like so great. Works so well.
This is actually so nice.
We're good. That's good.
Jake, the only thing that's like a little weird about this bowl is that there's like a deep part in the middle.
I know. But it's not our fault. It's the New York Times fault. So it's okay. That's really important. That's a very important part of the whole process. You have to make sure that you go from at least 2.5 feet above the bowl.
Do you ever add anything else, like chocolate chips?
Whoa.
I don't want chocolate chips in my
What was that
banana
question?
bread.
Whoa. Actually, people say that all the time. Like,
Okay,
ooh, chocolate chips.
I feel like we could put more nuts in.
Whoa. Okay.
I don't want to it up, but
I like a little banana bread with my nuts. Which ones?
I like both. Like, I wasn't thinking going whole. I was just thinking like, yeah. You were so badass the way you just crumbled those nuts.
Thanks, man. Look at us. We're almost there. Okay, Mags, you have to do the honors. This is like
Putting it in the pan.
Yeah, man, like
Okay.
we're here because of you, so we gotta put it in. Nice.
Have either of you had a cooking fail?
Never.
I tried sourdough the first time, and I was like instructed by like people who really knew what they were doing, and I had made the starter and all that stuff, and I was just like heartbroken. Yeah,
No.
that was a bummer. And then I figured out how to do it, and it was still not that good.
Should I clean off the edges or anything?
Nah,
Yeah,
who cares?
I feel like every time I try to cook something, often there are like little fails inside it. And then I make it again, and then I sort it out, and then I'm good.
Cool.
Okay, banana bread.
There you go. 55 to 65 minutes, but you should really take a. Oh yes. Oh, sorry. You should always take a toothpick to test it. Not yet. Sometimes I'll sprinkle a little sugar on the top of it too.
I think we should do that.
Okay, take it out. Get it out of there.
Okay.
We just do a light sprinkling of sugar on top. Yeah, and then a little bit more. And put back all that sugar you took out of the recipe and put it on top, and then pretend like it's out of the recipe, but it's actually on top. There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Do it horizontally.
Ooh, it's still warm.
What's a dish that takes you back to your childhood?
I have one, it's weird. My mom used to buy frozen kasha varnishkis. It's basically bow tie pasta with buckwheat grounds. But I wonder if people still make that.
My mom would get two things: alligator, you know that there's like it's
You know,
like
do
what's
you
it
call it
called?
that?
It has pecans and it's like has brown sugar and it's like a very sweet. That and Entenmann's dark like chocolate donuts.
Yellow cake.
Yeah. Then I would come home from school, and if it was there, I would take like 4 donuts and a glass of milk, and I would break them in half, and I would
cheap.
dump them into the thing and then eat them.
My mom used to have a framed embroidery that said, "Good cooks never lack friends," and she gave it to Jake.
It was half embroidered by our grandmother. Yeah. It's half done. It's cool.
If you were a food dish, what would you be, and can you answer for each other?
I think you would be that chocolate Entenmann yellow cake
Wow.
donut.
Okay.
So like,
Waxy and like.
no, that chocolate is amazing. Not now, but this is like from the mid 80s.
Oh, cool. I am from
You
there.
are.
So there you go. You would be a farro salad. Yeah, because I knew that would get. I knew I'd get her. In all honesty, my sister fits in no category and makes and creates things that fit in no category, and that is why she is who she is, and why I love her, and why so many other people love her, and why I've looked up to her since I was a little kid. So I guess I'm a Entenmann's donut.
Actually, this looks nice.
Do you feel proud?
I don't know yet.
This is when it's my fault.
I feel like we need black coffee.
Needs more baking soda.
Yes, I was just gonna say that.
I know.
Ours has more baking soda.
I mean, this is ours.
Can we not fake that this is ours? No, yeah, it's not ours. It needs more baking soda and more nuts.
Look at
Thank you.
my gosh. Is that the world you live in? You're just like black coffee.
Black
and
coffee.
Just, my God. You have Entenmann's donuts?
This is really good.
It's really good. The thing I love about this cake is that in 4 days, it's even better. This has sustained our joy in so many ways for so many years.
It's a nice sweet thing from our family. This recipe, our recipe.
No, I say our mom.
You do it.
Our mom's version of this recipe is now on New York Times.
But don't you actually think we should say Jake's version?
No.
No, this is really Jake's
No,
version.
I won't. No.
The baking soda.
It's
No,
not.
our version.
It's
I
our
added the
version.
nuts.
Okay, it's our version.
Yeah, our version is available now on New York Times Cooking.
The Bride is out in theaters now.